And we are on record now. Good afternoon. With me this afternoon is Rod Wallace. Rod Wallace is the superintendent for the Tejon Unified District. Yes, school district. I know it was, which has the 3 schools in the Fraser Mountain area. And yesterday, on March 19, I think it was, the Kern County Grand Jury came out with a report about basically the leadership at the Tejon Unified School. And so we will talk a little bit about the findings and recommendations of that grand jury report. So if you want to start and give a short statement about the report and how it all came together and what you know about it.
Sure. The early release came out yesterday. We went onto the website, looked at it as we got some phone calls regarding it. No communication from the grand jury saying that it was being released to to the public or anything. So we went on, looked at it here at the district office, read through it. From my knowledge, this is the reason why the grand jury was looking into the Tejon Unified School District and the board was based on previous complaints. I don't know when the exact complaints were in, but the grand jury report, I believe, covers the year 13-14, not the current 14-15 year. So in my looking at this, I looked at it as things that have gone on in the past in the district. And so we looked at it as far as what the recommendations were, and we kind of judged on where we were based on the recommendations, even though we hadn't seen the recommendations until basically yesterday. Were we already addressing a lot of those recommendations? And my conclusion is we were already, as a basically new board, from the board that I believe this is talking about, new superintendent, from the superintendent that they were talking about. So I think the district is moving forward already, or was moving and is continuing to move forward on the recommendations even before we received this.
So it is my understanding that you have also been interviewed in last year, somewhere in September, before the new board convened by members of that grand jury. Did they give you any indication at that time which time frame they are looking into or which time frame they are investigating?
The grand jury, when you go in and talk to the grand jury, everything is sequestered. Therefore, you cannot speak about any of the questions or operations that went on during that time.
Okay, I understand that. One of the findings they had in their report, they have 10 findings indeed. The main issue they come up with is that district communications are not functioning well and caused concerns for the public. And they give some examples of audio recorded board meetings are not user-friendly. Minutes of board meetings and agendas are provided in English only. District newsletters were not found or made available. And information regarding the new superintendent, which is you, was not made available to the public on the website. What are you saying to that?
Again, I don't know who gave them information and facts on this. I believe the audio recordings that you can get from our board meetings. I have not heard any complaints from the community that they can't find those on our website and listen to them if they want. The YouTube video feeds, we no longer use YouTube for video feeds. The agendas are posted, yes, currently all in English. We're looking into our requirements of needing to do that. And we will, if required, then we will provide in other languages. Newsletters, there's not a requirement to have a district newsletter. So while it may be nice and something that we look into, but there's not a requirement. So again, information regarding me as the new superintendent, I was available to you. I remember you coming and interviewing me and getting information about me. I was available to the other news media in the community, and So I wouldn't blame the previous board that hired me for saying that information regarding me wasn't out there in the public. So people can come in and look at my resume at any time, and you interviewed me, and so did the other news media. So, you know, you don't know where the information is coming from, so I can't talk too much about the findings. It's what that group found, and whether it was one person, two people bringing this information, I don't know. So there's not much really I can discuss on the findings other than look at it and, you know, look at it and then look at my own, because they're not a recommendation that we should have a district newsletter, but it's something that I would look into and say, is it needed, and go forward with that. So
one of the other things, and that seems to be also a main topic, is that the findings of the grand jury report stating Board of Trustees actions seem to be questionable, and even say at another in another part of the report that it seems that board members have their own personal agenda while doing school business. What are you saying about that?
Well, I don't know. As I look through there, I don't notice them giving anything as more important than any of the others. Here's their findings. They don't rank their findings, I don't think. I don't think any place in here does it say that they're based on a priority list or anything. So it's just findings that they go through. I think if you know, my personal opinion, we all have personal agendas in everything we do in our life. Does that personal agenda get in the way of making good decisions based on what is in the best interest of the students in the district? I don't know. I don't know what they're referring to. That's the problem with findings is that you don't know exactly what they're referring to. Therefore, you don't know the situation that they heard occurred, and therefore, again, I can't comment on, because I don't know what exactly the findings are.
Okay, here in finding number 8, they say board members are unclear as to what is considered a conflict of interest regarding their ability to vote on raises, stipends, and other related issues that affect their immediate family members. Any comment on your side on that?
You know what? We usually contact anytime our board members are concerned about a possible conflict of interest. We contact schools legal out of Kern County Superintendent of Schools office. We lay out the scenario of what the board is having to address, and they give their advice on whether it's a conflict of interest or not. So typically the board on any individual vote, if they feel, if the district office feels that we may be looking at a conflict of interest, then we contact schools legal and make sure that our board is functioning properly, or at least aware of what is the proper thing to do.
Okay.